A Macon man is dead after a police officer shot him multiple times in front of the Kroger on Pinona Avenue. That's according to Bibb County Coroner Leon Jones. And 41 NBC's Amanda Castro is live on the scene trying to piece together the information for us. Amanda?
Hey, Andrew. Okay, so right now, this Kroger of Pinona is completely cleared, but just over an hour ago, there were police filling up this parking lot. Police crime tape was up. That's because 49-year-old Sammy Davis Jr. was pronounced dead around 4:40 this afternoon of multiple gunshot wounds. That's according to Bibb County Coroner Leon Jones. We do have unconfirmed reports from a witness who says a Macon police officer shot him 4 times. The witness also told us that the man is well known in this area and he often asks for spare change from people who walk into the store. It's not clear whether police wanted to arrest Davis, but they were serving a search and arrest warrant before shots were rang out.
What we know is that a Precinct 3 patrol officer attempted to serve a warrant. A struggle ensued, shots were fired, and we're investigating.
So if they were going to shoot him, they just should have shot him in the leg. Why shoot him 4 times? That don't make no sense. I don't like that.
We are working to find out what exactly happened. Again, there's not very much information. Police are trying to piece what happened. So we'll keep you updated as soon as we have more information on 41 NBC and at 41NBC.com. Reporting live in Macon, Amanda Castro for 41 NBC News.
This may be the last time. This may be the last time, children.
The family of a Macon man who was shot and killed by a police officer Friday afternoon is trying to piece together why their brother and their uncle is gone. Macon police say a fight broke out between an officer and 49-year-old Sammy Davis Jr. at the Kroger on Pinona Avenue. Davis was shot multiple times in the chest during the incident, but Cheryl Davis says her brother wasn't violent, and she's having trouble understanding why he was shot.
I'm so sorry, Junebug. I'm so sorry I didn't keep you, protect you.
Junebug. That was the nickname given to 49-year-old Sammy Davis Jr. His sister Cheryl Davis says even though he had a famous name, her baby brother lived a very simple life.
His time was spent at Kroger, home, Kroger, home.
But around 3:30 on Friday afternoon, that daily routine was disrupted. Macon police spokesperson Jamie Godet told 41 NBC Precinct 3 officer Clayton Sutton was serving a warrant at the Kroger on Pinona when a fight broke out. Shots were fired and Davis was hit multiple times in the chest. He died at the hospital.
My sister and I went there, we hugged and kissed him, and it looked like he was going to wake up any minute.
Days later, and Cheryl Davis still doesn't understand why her brother was involved in a shooting.
He was not a thug, he was not a criminal, he wasn't crazy, he wasn't insane, he did not snap.
Davis says Sammy didn't have any mental disabilities, but he was a little shy. She recalls a time when she had to ask police for help finding him when he didn't return home.
They found him up the street scared to come past a dog. He came back with my brother in that car. He didn't have to shoot him. He didn't have to beat him. He was able to bring Junebug home to me.
A home that's going to feel a little emptier this Christmas.
This is him when he was a teenager.
But 7-year-old Lolly Davis couldn't help talking about her uncle as a grown-up. She says he had a big appetite.
He would just eat whatever my grandma would cook. And I think he would love the food that we have today and what we are going to eat for Christmas. He would love that.
And what Cheryl Davis would love for Christmas is just one more moment with her baby brother.
I just wish, Junebug, that I had. I wish I could see you one more time. I would never let you out of this house. I wish I could see you, Junebug. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Godet would not say if the warrant was issued for Davis, but his sister Cheryl says her brother wasn't in trouble. Officer Sutton was placed on administrative leave while the Macon Police Department's Internal Affairs Division investigates this incident. We'll, of course, keep you updated as more details become available.
And this may be the last time. It may be the last time, I don't know. This may be the last time.
This may be the last time, children. This may be the last time. It may be the last time, I don't know.
Maybe the last time we ever shout together.
Well, it may be the last time, I don't know.
Maybe the last time we ever shout together.
Oh, it may be the last time, I don't know.
The Macon police officer accused of fatally shooting a man outside of Kroger has been disciplined for excessive force before. According to police files, Officer Clayton Sutton has been reprimanded more than a dozen times in the past 4 years, and now Sammy Davis's family wants him off the street. 41 NBC's Jasmine Williams has been following this story, and she joins us in the studio with details.
That's right. We first told you about Mary Mike back in September. Mike claimed she was injured when she was struck by a police cruiser. She said the officer was Officer Sutton, and she believes he was the driver. Sutton is the same officer who shot Sammy Davis outside of Kroger.
Cheryl Davis has read through these 4 pages and dozen reprimands several times as she tries to learn more about the Macon police officer who shot and killed her brother.
I don't even understand why this man is still walking around here today.
Officer Clayton Sutton fatally shot Sammy Davis outside of Kroger. According to police reports, Sammy was unarmed.
He's to be arrested the way anybody else would if they had taken someone's life.
It's the same thing Mary Mike has been asking for months. We first told you about Mike in September. She claimed she was struck by a police cruiser and Officer Sutton was behind the wheel.
The one that hit me intentionally.
Mike plans to file suit but hasn't received a police report. 41 NBC requested a copy of the report and was told there was not one available. A private investigator is now looking into her case. She believes if Sutton was properly disciplined the first time, all of this could have been prevented.
That would have never happened to this lady brother. She would have had her brother here to today.
In an attempt to make sure this doesn't happen again, the community is coming together.
It's going to have to be some justice done. This is going to have to stop.
So many people love Junebug, and I'm so glad that people are speaking up for him.
Now the protest is planned for this Friday at 1 p.m. outside of City Hall. We obtained some police files that say that Officer Sutton was reprimanded in July of 2010 after he used excessive force while pulling a woman for her vehicle. Another man is filing a lawsuit against the officer for a previous incident. 41 NBC reached out to Melanie Hoffman about the incident, and we have not heard back. We also reached out to Internal Affairs, and they have not returned our calls.
This may be the last time.
This may be the last time, children. This may be the last time. It may be the last time, I don't know.
Maybe the last time we ever mourn together.
It may be the last time, I don't know.
Maybe the last time we ever mourn together.
It may be the last time, I don't know.
This may be the last time.
This may be the last time, children. This may be the last time. It may be the last time, I don't know.
The shooting death of a Macon man has sparked a protest and new conversations about what some people are calling corruption within the Macon Police Department. Nearly 100 people rallied outside Macon City Hall today calling for Officer Clayton Sutton to be arrested after police say he shot and killed Sammy Davis Jr. outside of Kroger just a week ago. 41 NBC's Jasmine Williams spoke with protesters who are comparing this case to Trayvon Martin.
Andrew, protesters I spoke with say an innocent man was shot and killed by someone who was sworn to serve and protect. They argue Davis was an unarmed man simply drinking a soda when he was gunned down, and they will not rest until they have justice.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Emotions were high outside of Macon City Hall as protesters called for justice in the death of Sammy Davis.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Davis was shot and killed by Macon police officer Clayton Sutton outside of Kroger last Friday. According to police reports, Sutton shot Davis first. Then Davis was handcuffed and searched for weapons, but nothing was found. Sutton is now on administrative leave, and Internal Affairs is investigating the case.
It's a tough time for the city, and right now, as a city council member, me as my committee, we're all about finding out what the truth is and making sure that justice is done.
But for many people in the community, it's simply not enough.
I think it's an outrage. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that this guy is getting away with murder.
We will not allow you to stand behind a badge and take the life of innocent people.
The shooting has sparked debates about police corruption and whether race played a role. Some people are even comparing Davis to Trayvon Martin. But the victim's sister, Cheryl, just wants to know what happened to the brother she lovingly called Junebug.
Don't let this be about black and white. Let this be about right and wrong.
And she will not rest until her family has justice for Junebug.
Funeral services for Davis will be held tomorrow at noon at Bentley & Sons Funeral Home. A fund has been established to help with the services at Robbins Federal Credit Union.
Maybe the last time we fellowship together.
Well, it may be the last time, I don't know.
Maybe the last time we fellowship together.
Well, it may be the last time, I don't know.
This may be the last time.
This may be the last time, children. This may be the last time. It may be the last time, I don't know.
This may be the last time.
This may be the last time, children. This may be the last time. It may be the last time, I don't know.
This may be the last time.
This may be the last time, children.
The man fatally shot by a Macon police officer was laid to rest Saturday. Sammy Davis Jr.'s family and the community came together to celebrate his life and say their final goodbyes, and some are still demanding justice. 41 NBC's Amanda Castro has more.
It was a gray and chilly Saturday afternoon, but the weather didn't stop dozens of people from gathering in the chapel of Bentley & Sons Funeral Home to say goodbye to Sammy Davis Jr.
We grew up together and never known him to bother anyone. He just was a kind, loving person, never harm or hair on anyone's head.
He was a very sweet man. Everyone in the Bellevue community and around knew him and loved him.
And you could see that love in the large number of family, friends, and complete strangers who came to pay their final respects to the man known as Junebug.
The service was wonderful. It was real nice. Just a nice homegoing.
This service was a beautiful homecoming. An angel just got his wings.
It's a sad day for Davis's family and the community, but many are grateful for the chance to remember Junebug and say their final goodbyes. And as he's laid to rest, the community is coming together, demanding answers and justice.
There's just no excuse for what has happened.
Just to let us know that, he's at peace with God, and God don't make no mistake. But I really, myself, would like to see justice done. I really do.
In Macon, Amanda Castro, 41 NBC News.
The Macon Police Department is conducting an internal investigation into what happened leading up to that shooting. Officer Clayton Sutton, the man who killed Davis, is currently on paid administrative leave. We're following this story very closely, and we will keep you updated as more updates become available. The investigation into the fatal shooting of Sammy Davis at Kroger is now being handed over to the GBI. Bibb County's new district attorney David Cook released a statement today saying, quote, "I think it's important in a case of this type that a neutral third party reviews the facts and circumstances. So early this morning, I formally asked GBI Director Vernon Keenan to conduct their own review and investigation of the incident. I am in contact with the local GBI agent in charge, and they have already begun work on the case. The controversy continues to swirl around Officer Clayton Sutton, the man who shot Sammy Davis, who witnesses say was unarmed in the Kroger parking lot on December 21st, rather. And as local law enforcement investigates one of their own for that deadly shooting, Macon City Council members and the local NAACP are weighing in on that controversy surrounding Officer Clayton Sutton's use of deadly force. As 41 NBC's Jasmine Williams explains, council members believe the GBI should have been called sooner.
New and separate investigations are brewing as interest continues to grow in the Sammy Davis Jr. case. Macon police officer Clayton Sutton shot and killed Davis outside of Kroger on December 21st.
The circumstances, the action that had been taken.
The Macon Police Department Internal Affairs Division completed its investigation in the case. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations will now review it.
I've had several citizens complaining to me that the chief has not been vigilant.
41 NBC has reached out to the Macon Police Department, Chief Burns, and Internal Affairs, but no one will comment on the case. In a letter, Macon Mayor Robert Rickard chimed in saying, quote, "I felt it my duty to visit Mr. Davis's family and assure them and the community that an appropriate investigation will be conducted." But 41 NBC reached out to Sammy's sister Cheryl, who said she hasn't heard from the mayor since the initial shooting. And leaders, citizens, and organizations don't seem confident in Internal Affairs' abilities.
That spread a dark cloud over the Macon Police Department and this whole investigation.
In a letter, Macon City Council member Henry Fickling wrote, "Hopefully you will see this situation warrants a different approach."
I'm concerned as to exactly what transpired.
So is the local NAACP chapter. The group also plans to conduct an investigation into the case and is glad the GBI is now handling it. Macon, Jasmine Williams, 41 NBC News.
And we reached out to Macon City Council member Henry Fickling several times, but he never called us back. Breaking news now, 41 NBC has learned that the family of the man shot and fatally wounded by a Macon police officer is suing. Sammy Davis Jr.'s family hired the Forrest B. Johnson and Associates law firm to represent their case. Investigators with the firm will start their own search to find out the events that led to Officer Clayton Sutton fatally shooting Davis last month in front of the Kroger on Pinona Avenue.